Hello, we are live.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you and welcome to... Welcome to the Experience AlUla webinar. We're really delighted to have so many of you attend, and we really appreciate your taking time to be with us. We are excited to introduce you to Saudi Arabia's true gem, the world's masterpiece, home to Hegra, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a region of extraordinary human and cultural heritage, of outstanding natural beauty and landscapes, art and culture, exotic food, luxury resorts, and amazing adventure activities. That is AlUla. I am Beena Menon, representing AlUla in India, and I'm joined by my business partner, Huzan Fraser. And we welcome on the panel today, Ms. Melanie D'Souza, Executive Director, Destination Marketing, Royal Commission of AlUla. Melanie is a marketing leader with an outstanding track record of achievement in the tourism and hospitality industry in Australia and Asia. Melanie was included in the list of Australia's top 50 most innovative chief marketing officers in CMO Magazine 2018. She's presently the Executive Director, Destination Marketing at the Royal Commission for AlUla, where she leads a team of specialists to develop the brand, digital assets, trade and consumer marketing, and PR to launch AlUla to the world. We also have Mr. Tyler Gosnell, Head of International Destination Management and Marketing Office, Royal Commission of AlUla. Tyler is a marketing professional with strong experience in the global travel space, where he's run successful programs in mature and emerging global source markets for leading DMOs, including Visit California and San Francisco Travel. Presently, Tyler leads global trade distribution and international marketing for the Royal Commission for AlUla, where he collaborates with an outstanding team of cross-functional experts to bring the destination to market. And also on the panel, we are very privileged to have with us Mr. Samir Mehta, Advisor, Destination Management, Zahid Travel Group. Zahid Travel Group is very well established and a leading DMC who will be supporting our market, and Samir is looking forward to working very closely with all of you. So today we will be doing presentations to familiarize yourselves with the products that you're ready to promote it once borders open and the flights resume. But just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. So all of you are presently on mute mode and your webcams have been turned off by default. If by any chance your webcam is on, please turn it off, log out of the system and restart your browser. In case you experience any issues like mixing of audio or lag, please check your internet connection and refresh your browser. Most problems we find just get resolved by simply refreshing your page. You could even log out of the system and restart your browser. In case you're experiencing low internet speed, when any video is played, you might get a pop-up saying click for audio. So those of you who are using mobile phones, please use the landscape mode for a better viewing experience. I'm sure you will have questions during the presentation. Please type in your questions in the chat tab, which is opened up on the top right corner of the screen inside the webinar's control panel. I hope all of you can see that. This control panel can be maximized or minimized, and we will be answering all your questions at the right at the end after the last presentation. And that's not it. We're going to be giving away some good prizes at the end of the webinar. And all you need to do is to participate in a live quiz. And we will show you how you should answer the quiz. But we'll do that at a later stage just before we get on to the quiz. So just stay tuned. I'd like to thank Ajay and TravelBiz Monitor for providing this platform. After the webinar, TravelBiz Monitor will provide you with access to all the brochures, all the presentations, the videos, and also provide the contact details of the key members of our team, including Rashmi, Kavya, Tara, Franco, and Jackie. So we are now ready to start, and I will request Melanie to introduce the newest sensation in tourism to you. Over to you, Melanie, and I'll request the panel to kindly turn off their cameras.
Well, thank you very much, Beena, and good morning, everybody. I join Beena with those very warm words of welcome to all of you. we see you in the travel trade as very key partners in the whole distribution game in what is a very critical market for us, which is the Indian market. And obviously, with India as my home, I have a very special place in my heart for it, and certainly have very, very strong hopes that this is a market that does very well for us. On behalf of the Royal Commission for AlUla, I'd like to acknowledge Tyler, who is my head of international distribution, and I'd also like to thank Samir from our DMC partner, who is made time to be here, recognizing the DMCs with their very in-depth understanding of the product landscape and their networks have those key ingredients to help you build out your itineraries and to support you with the service standards that you expect for your clients. Importantly, I would like to acknowledge both Bina and Huzan from Beautiful Planet. These are ladies that I've had the privilege of knowing for a very long time. They are trusted people on the ground in India, and this is a very exciting moment for us as we have our very first webinar in India. A little bit about AlUla. There's some exciting presentations ahead for you, so I don't want to steal any of that thunder, but I do want to say we're at a really interesting point in time. Saudi Arabia, as you know, has been a closed destination for so long, and it's only with the 2030 ambitious plans launched by the government more recently that there is recognition of what is a very important role that tourism can play in the economy. And Saudi Arabia is sitting on the most amazing heritage assets, but also destinations like the Red Sea with its pristine coral and opportunities for sectors like diving and the cruise market. And no doubt Samir will touch on this more, but I think in terms of itineraries, combining as well with places like Jeddah that have a very interesting old town and architecture, wonderful souks. There's the ability to pull together an itinerary in a part of the world that, quite frankly, is just waiting to be discovered. AlUla is, even in Saudi Tourism Authority's words, the crown jewel of the kingdom. And that's because if you think about our destination, we have at our heart one of the most significant global heritage destinations that is going to take the world by storm. This is a place that has played host to the caravan routes. It's synonymous with the incense route, and it's played home to civilizations, ancient civilizations over the millennia. You know, when I think of great heritage destinations in the world, I think Egypt, I think Machu Picchu, closer to home, Turkey and Jordan, and Petra in particular. And of course, while Petra is synonymous with the Nabateans, that is our link as well to what is the iconic Hegra that Bina referenced in her opening comments. And the difference is that the Nabateans have left us with this very large acreage of relics that play testimony to that, the times and lives of that era. But the other exciting part of AlUla is what we have inherited from the North Arabian kingdoms. Even archaeologists have a twinkle in their eye when they recall what they know currently about the North Arabian kingdoms, but more importantly, what they don't know. And diggings are afoot still in that part of AlUla, where I think that the stories that are yet to be told will be almost more interesting. But heritage, as you know, is not the only pillar, if you like, in our brand. We're very much about positioning this destination as an aspirational destination. And the key suite of offerings will include very exciting adventure options that you will hear more about, but also culture, which is very much at the heart of what we're about. Not just culture in terms of being synonymous with the concerts and global entertainment, big name artists that played host to absolutely amazing crowds over 2 successful cultural festivals that we ran as a sneak preview of the destination, but also culture in terms of what will be very immersive galleries and museums that will bring to life and be true to what is our core offering as it relates to our heritage. So with that said, Can I just say as well, our plans for built infrastructure, whether it is hotels with some big brand names like the Amans, but also significant architectural statements, if you like, with names like the Pritzker award-winning architect Jean Nouvel. They're going to stamp the landscape, which is majestic anyway, because if you see pictures and videos as you're about to, you will see a destination that has the most majestic rocky outcrops juxtaposed with the green and the beauty of these oases and palm trees. So absolutely magical land, and the night skies in particular are stunning. And one of the things I urge you to do, a little tip from me, is definitely include stargazing in those itineraries. I want to talk a little bit about Saudi tourism. And of course, you would no doubt have seen their big outdoor advertising, which does justice to this great destination of ours, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, that is well and truly now going to be on the map. But I also want to talk a little bit about what I see as hygiene factors. You know, Saudi tourism has traditionally been synonymous with the religious tourism and Hajj and Umrah in particular. And we've hosted a lot of Indians in that context. But now, with Saudi embracing international tourism, albeit borders being temporarily shut as a result of COVID, there's a real opportunity for us to look to India for what I see as the family market, honeymooners, and importantly, business tourism. And our venue, and you'll hear more about Mariah, which is the mirrored building, but that has played host to some of the great artists of the world from, its capacity as a multi-purpose entertainment venue, but it's also very suited to business tourism. And no doubt you're going to get a bit more of a briefing in terms of what we can do there. But with air connectivity, if you think about it, before COVID, we've had flights both with Air India and Saudi Air from the major gateways in India through to Riyadh, Jeddah, Dammam, and also into Medina, where, of course, you can just get in a car and it's a 3-hour drive to AlUla. AlUla is northwest of Riyadh and connected by flights daily from places like, 5 times a week from places like Riyadh. It's just an hour and a bit in terms of flight times. One of the great things that Saudi tourism did last year was really change the visa regime as part of its impetus, if you like, to encourage tourism. And while India was not one of the countries that was necessarily on the e-visa list, I can assure you that there is a lot of work being done to improve the regulatory climate as it relates to e-visas. And I also know that people who have current abilities to or can demonstrate that they are in and acceptable in countries like UK and USA can also get visas on arrival. Now, while borders are currently closed, and this was a phenomenon from just last week, we see this potentially changing in a few weeks' time. And as I said before, AlUla is now open very much year-round, focusing in the short term on the home market of KSA, but very much as borders lift, our ambitions are to embrace the global tourism opportunity, and recognizing that we've already committed to quite a significant network of offices, both to represent us with our trade marketing ambitions, but also to build our brand. I'm very conscious that having been in Saudi Arabia now for what effectively is 14 months, I can tell you with confidence that, like many of you, I had entrenched perceptions about Saudi, and those were quickly washed away as I guess, really developed an appreciation for what is a really warm, hospitable country. You know, in India, we pride ourselves on our hospitality, but I tell you, I have been blown away by the warmth and friendliness of the Saudis, and the fact that they really have a pride in being able to show to the world the kind of tourism jewels that are in their backyard that hitherto have not been open to the world. And I guess it brings me to the point as well that this is a time of great societal change. It's palpable. There is a new sense of confidence with women, a new sense of self, both personally and professionally. And I'm delighted to be there at this really, august time, if you like, in Saudi history. Really, that's it from me. I just want to say to you that knowing Bina and Huzan, you're in for a treat as far as the rest of the morning is concerned. Please enjoy today. Thank you very, very much. And I hope that it won't be long before both Tyler and I will have a chance to come and meet you in person in India. But more importantly, we look forward to the opportunity of welcoming you in AlUla, and not just you, but your clients as well. Thank you very much. And with that, I'll hand you back to Bina.
Thanks so much, Melanie, for that wonderful speech. I think it's been a great introduction to the destination, and we'll take it forward from here. Just want to mention that AlUla is really a destination that has to be seen to be believed. And we'll now take you through the slides of the presentation. So AlUla is a living, breathing open-air museum. It's full of awe-inspiring heritage sites and natural wonders. So travelers to AlUla have long been inspired by its beauty and sustained by its oasis. And AlUla is really a modern name for a historic oasis. So this oasis city has been ruled by ancient North Arabian kingdoms, then by the Nabateans, then by the Roman Empire before Prophet Muhammad's arrival in 630 AD. And all these civilizations we find have really stamped the region with their unique culture, which is evident in the archaeological findings. So AlUla is a place of rich, natural, human, and cultural heritage, and it dates back to 200,000 years of largely unexplored human history. And here one can experience 7,000 years of human civilization. Today, of course, AlUla is going through a very careful and sensitive restoration to ready itself for modern day guests. What's happened? Sorry, what's happening? How did it go off? I'm so sorry, but yeah, sorry about that. Is the mic on? Very sorry about that. There seems to have been some issue. I just don't know why I got logged out. To give you some idea of where AlUla is located, is 1,000 kilometers northwest of Riyadh. It has a population of 45,000. And the size of AlUla is about the size of a country like Belgium. It's about 25,000 square kilometers. This is Crown Prince Mohammed, and he has a very modern outlook for Saudi Arabia, and he wants to turn AlUla into a living museum, which will create memories for people. And he wants to make it AlUla extremely tourism friendly, a place where people can really come here and enjoy themselves. So this is where AlUla is located. And this is Medina and this is Mecca, where the two holy mosques reside. This is Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia, and this is Jeddah. Jeddah is a hub of resorts. It has historical architecture and souks. And there's a big Red Sea project which is going on over here. So there'll be a lot of water-based, wonderful experiences for people to enjoy. And so when you're creating itineraries for AlUla, you could do mono itineraries for AlUla. You could also look at combining some of the regions within Saudi Arabia, or even combine it with Egypt or Israel, Jordan, UAE, or Oman, depending upon what your clients would like. So a little bit more about AlUla, some facts. So as Melanie mentioned, AlUla has been a very important stop on the incense road, which connected Asia, Africa with Europe. So you would have all these caravans which would be carrying, myrrh, ebony, silk, and a lot of the incenses, and they would be traveling from one continent across to the other. And the AlUla, and at AlUla with this great oasis was a wonderful place for all the caravans to come and take a break. So it has 7,000 years of civilization and history. And Hegra is Saudi Arabia's first UNESCO World Heritage Site, where you have about more than 100 beautiful and well-preserved tombs, and the archaeological diggings do continue. So in AlUla, there are four key heritage sites, and they are Hegra and Hijaz railway station, Dadan, Jabal Ikmah, and AlUla Old Town. And as we go through this presentation, I'll tell you more about each of these heritage sites. So AlUla, as I already mentioned, there's 200,000 years of human history that one can experience over here. It's becoming very big in the arts and culture space, traditional arts as well as contemporary arts. And its landscape is outstanding. It's extremely beautiful. It features sandstone canyons, volcanic plains, mountains, valleys, oasis covered in palm trees. And the green palm trees against the blue sky and the golden sand makes it really a very beautiful landscape. And the best part is that in AlUla, you can experience the heritage, the nature, and everything through some really interesting and amazing adventure activities. We all know today that the young people are looking at they enjoy soft adventure activities, and there's very, very interesting ways of experiencing the destination through soft adventure. So we now talk about the four heritage sites. So, these heritage sites really tell you the story about the people who once called this place home. So as you go to the heritage sites, you learn so much about the people, who used to live here. Each of these heritage sites is easily accessible through hop-on, hop-off buses, and there is even a pass for all four heritage sites together, or you can even experience them individually. And what is really good about these heritage sites is that the whole place is brought to life. There's a lot of engagement. There are a lot of, there could be, handicraft workshops, there are live enactments, they have actors where you can, and lots of storytellers who would really tell you a lot about the place. The people are very warm and very friendly and very welcoming, and they might teach you some traditional dance steps. They might, engage you in learning about some cooking. There'll be, enactments about stories about people who travel in the caravans, and it's all very interactive. And there's also a lot of, opportunity to really engage with the locals. So this is Hegra. So this picture that you're seeing over here is very iconic of not only Hegra, also AlUla, because this is Saudi Arabia's first UNESCO World Heritage Site. So this has, over here you will find about more than 100 of these monumental tombs, which have been cut out into these mountain rocks. And this is where the Nabatean elite used to be buried. So they had a lot of respect for the dead, and there were a lot of rituals, the transition from one world to the next. And therefore they had very decorative facades. And, you'll find that they have these 5 steps, which are really the 5 steps to heaven. And so these tombs are something that one would really enjoy seeing on a tour to Hegra. And apart from this, there are other attractions within Hegra, and one of them is the Hijaz railway station. So in 1900, they started building a railway which was to connect Medina to Damascus, and this was because the pilgrims, would be traveling for months on end, on camelback in the scorching heat of the summer, the freezing cold of the winter, to come in, for their pilgrimages. So they thought if they built a railway track which would go all the way to Mecca, it would have been, very good for the pilgrims, and also merchants would use it. But what happened is in the World War, this entire thing was, devastated in the World War, in the First World War, and therefore the project never really completed, was not completed all the way to Mecca. But over here, the Hegra railway station, it still exists. It's been restored, and there is an original locomotive that you can, see over here. So when visitors come over here, all you need to do is to put on your audio phone, and you can hear stories of the merchants or the pilgrims who used to travel for their pilgrims on these trains. Apart from that, there are other, like there's Jabal Ikmah, there's Jabal, which is a mountain outcrop, Then you have Jabal Al-Banat, where you again have, different kinds of tombs, or you can learn how to make date jewelry at Jabal Al-Mahar. And of course, there's also the Lian, son of Cusa tomb as well. So they're very interesting, attractions over here in Hegra, apart from the experiences which I mentioned about. So this is open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And, you'll be accompanied by a guide who really brings out all the stories and brings the destination, to life. And there's like, transportation and everything available as well. So this is Dadan. This is the second heritage site that we're going to be telling you about. So Dadan was one of the most developed cities in the Arabian Peninsula. And this is really very famous because it has 12 lion tombs, which have been cut from the red rock cliff. And people would really come here to experience these tombs. And, in terms of interaction, they have a lot of, archaeological digs also over here, which, children and family can enjoy. And then we have Jabal Ikmah. So Jabal Ikmah and Dadan are very close to each other, so they usually would be, combined. And Jabal Ikmah is a mountain massif. It is known as the largest open library in Saudi Arabia, because over here you can see hundreds of inscriptions, in different languages, including Greek and Latin. And these inscriptions really tell you the stories of, the people who used to live here, their rituals, their customs. You learn about the animals. So it's very, very interesting to be over here at Jabal Ikmah. So both Dadan and Jabal Ikmah are, open 7 days a week. And you'll have, again, a train guide. There's transport available within the site. And there's also a restaurant available, between the two sites, which is, situated within the lush oasis of AlUla. And the fourth heritage site is the Old Town of AlUla. So the Old Town of AlUla has actually been inhabited till almost 80 years ago. And this comprises of about 900 houses, 400 shops, and 5 town squares. And there's a big castle which overlooks the old town of AlUla. So this is a place where one should definitely visit, because here you can really experience what life would have been like so many centuries ago. There's like a deep well of stories over here. And there are shops, which sell pottery or dates or, handicrafts. You can really you can spend a lot of time over here. There's also, restaurants and a cafe. So this is a place where, one should definitely spend a lot of time in the old town of AlUla. It's open 7 days a week. And here again, there'll be a train guide who will, tell you all about the interesting stories and all the things that you can do here. So many shops and interactive experiences as well over here. And so that's about the 4 heritage sites that we just spoke about. But apart from the 4 heritage sites, there are many different kinds of interesting rocks that one can see all over AlUla, and one of them is the Elephant Rock. So this rock is a geological wonder. It's about 3 stories high, and you find there's this elephant with its trunk resting on the ground, and it's amazing to be here, and you see how the light turns, and people come here for camping, and it's one of the iconic sites again of AlUla. There is no open or closing timings, because it's there is no entry fee either to this place, and a lot of people would want to come here just for camping. So now, I think what we've seen so far is a lot of desert and sand, but not all of AlUla is dry. In fact, AlUla, it has this wonderful oasis. It is absolutely lush green over here. You have about like millions of date palm trees, which produce over 90,000 tons of dates. There's a lot of respect for the date tree here, because they realize over here, that it really sustains life for people who live over here. And the most famous date is known as the Barni date, and that is something that people should really get when they go over here. And as you can see, there are lots of other trees, like you have citrus trees that grow here, vegetables, fruit, herbs, mangoes, oranges. It's a great place to really, for people who enjoy fresh fruit juices, this is a great place to be. And this place is also very well known for the moringa tree. So you might be aware of this moringa tree. It's a tree which has a very special seed, from where you extract oil, which is used for making soaps, shampoos, and fragrances. And this has been exported for years. And one can pick up these kind of things also when you are at AlUla. And one can have some really interesting, interactive, farm tour experiences, because they've got some really good farms over here. The Alwari farm is, one such, which one can experience, where you can, interact with the local farmers. You can do a farm tour. They have workshops, interact with the animals, and also do fruit picking. And over here, there's also a coffee shop and a restaurant. So yeah, and apart from the heritage sites and the rocks and the oasis, I think what AlUla is going to be more and more well known for is also stargazing. So Algaramil is the area where one goes for stargazing. This place it's quite far from the city, so the combination of the sandstones which form great, which is very great for very dark skies, and the fact that there's no pollution over here. It's extremely dark, and you have the most enviable dark skies with the stars, millions of them that you can see. And you will have a guide who will tell you about how people would use the stars to predict weather, or for navigation. And you'll be able to see the different constellations like the Milky Way or the Big Dipper, and telescopes would also be available. And you literally have the entire universe, illuminated before your very eyes. So this is definitely a very unforgettable experience for AlUla. And what you see in the image over here is people dining under the stars. So this is a great experience, and you can either have like a proper dinner over here, or you can just cuddle up in your cozy blanket and have a warm hot chocolate and just enjoy the beautiful stars. And the best way to really experience the magic of AlUla is to really engage in some of the soft adventure activities, because whether you want to do it by foot, bike, camel, they have these 4x4s or vintage Uber cars. It's a destination that you can really enjoy through soft adventure. And yeah, so you have very interesting, cycling trails where you can experience the landscape, which goes through citrus and date farms. A bunch of you can get together like friends, and you'll be accompanied by a guide, and they'll provide the bike and helmet, and you can really enjoy the natural landscapes of AlUla. You could even do it on a horse or camel trail. This could take about an hour or two, but when you are with an expert guide, they'll really tell you the stories of the place and make it a very enjoyable experience. You'll be provided with your saddled animals and guides, and of course all the safety equipment. And for those who just want to walk, there are different walking trails of different levels of difficulty. So there's easy, there's medium, there's more advanced. So depending on what your clients like, you can decide what you want to recommend to them. And what is really exciting is also there is this adventure canyon. So there is this canyon where you can have some really great experiences, like zip lining, as you can see in this image. There are buggies, sand buggies. There's a bike park. So there's a lot of fun for children. There's a lot of fun for adults who could really who are interested in soft adventure. Yeah, so as Melanie also mentioned, that apart from all the heritage and the adventure and the beautiful nature, there's also AlUla is becoming very big in the art and culture space. So Desert X is a foundation which started in the Coachella Valley of Southern California, and they placed modern art installations during the winter at Tentora Festival in 2019-2020. And they took cues from the desert landscape, and these were extremely beautiful art installations. And apart from that, there's a very famous Japanese artist who made her Saudi Arabian debut with a very nice artwork, which is present at AlUla's Mariah Concert Hall, which we'll tell you more about as we go through this presentation. So this is something that we've all been very excited about. This is the Winter at Tantora Festival. So this is a festival that took place 2 years in a row, 2018-19 and 2019-2020. It did not take place this year because of COVID. Although we believe this will be a recurring festival, we at present have no idea as to what format it will take or even when it will be had. But just to tell you that this was held for 2 years, and it was a very exhilarating festival. And the best part is that this festival attracts, international performers. There were international performers, famous, very well known, like Lionel Richie, who's performed here, Enrique performed over here. So people come here to experience the beautiful music. And apart from that, there's adventure, there's sport, hot air ballooning, horse racing. It's a whole light and life celebration. So this is something that we believe would do very well also with the India market. It takes place between December to March. We don't have any information of the next festival, but as and when we do, we will definitely keep you all updated on that. Just sharing some images on the festival which was held. So what you see over here is hot air ballooning. So there were over 100 hot air balloons from over 19 countries, and there were so many hot air balloons in a 3 square kilometer radius that it entered the Guinness Book of World Records. So AlUla is the Guinness Book of Records for this. Apart from that, there's vintage aircraft flights, and there's desert polo as well. And this is just wanted to show you the Mariah Concert Hall. We'll show you more about this as we go to the presentation. And this was Enrique performing, and also Lionel Richie. So I'm going to pass on this to Hosanna, who will take you through the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Beena. Thank you. Thank you, Beena, for giving everyone a really interesting insight as to why we should all visit AlUla. We can't all wait for the borders to open and get there. I hope everyone's listening, because there is a contest at the end of this presentation, and there are some nice and interesting prizes to be won. We're giving away some gift vouchers. So now I'll move on to the second part of the presentation, which will just focus on accommodation options in AlUla and our world-class conference venue, Mariah. So at AlUla, you can experience a stay in luxury tents, desert camps, and villas. There are going to be a lot of international brands coming up, including Four Seasons, Aman, Habitas, which will be opening soon. Habitas is opening in July 21, and Aman Resorts in July 23. The hotels will continue to cement AlUla as the world's masterpiece. There are plenty of accommodation options will be available to you and your clients between 5-star, 4-star, and 3-star hotels and resorts. And of course, what Melanie referenced on briefly, the hotel that we're all waiting for will be the Cave Resort, which is going to be commissioned by the world-renowned French architect, Jean Nouvel, in the Charan Reserve. That's going to be quite spectacular. So these are some of the hotel options that we have. The development of this high-end resort makes AlUla a really ideal destination, even for the luxury market. Moving on to Mariah, which we've referenced a couple of times. Mariah rises from the sand like a mirage. It really translates to mirrors and reflection in Arabic. So that's why it is called Mariah. It is designed, while it's a very really modern building, it is designed to blend into the surrounding landscape. The state-of-art structure is covered in mirrored panels reflecting AlUla's true beauty. The area is about 9,740 square meters of mirrors, making it the largest building in the world, largest mirrored building in the world. And in Jan 2020, we were really delighted that it got the accolade of, got into the Guinness Book of World Records. So AlUla is really creating a lot of firsts with 2 Guinness Book of World Record entries. Besides this, what Maraya offers, it can host business events, meetings, congresses, incentives, and weddings. We're quite keen to have an Indian wedding take place in Maraya, and it'll be really beautiful against this iconic landscape. It has a concert venue where we had the Winter Tantora Festival. It is also the venue. It was also the venue for the first Hegra conference of Nobel Prize laureate in 2020. And more recently, as we saw, there was a lot of coverage on the landmark 41st GCC summit, and that too was held at Maraya. So we believe going forward that if there are any conferencing or MICE requirements for Saudi Arabia, Maraya is the place to be. Now, a question that we get asked very often is on the F&B offering. So there's lots of good F&B offerings and lots of vegetarian food options that will be available to Indian tourists. There are options within the hotel. There are standalone options. And then during festivals, like during the Winter Tantora Festival, we had a lot of pop-up options. So there's a lot of good modern food available, suitable to the Indian palate. And I think there's an Indian restaurant coming up as well. So now getting on to how do you reach there? So as we know, Saudi is really well connected from India. So we have Air India, Saudi, and Indigo and SpiceJet, which connect the main carriers that connect from India directly into Saudi Arabia. And then, of course, you have connections on Etihad and Emirates via their respective hubs. Once you reach AlUla, there's also an airport in AlUla, just about 35 kilometers from the city. It's ULH, the short form of the airport. And it is really, and so if you fly, and there are direct flights from Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, and if you fly from there into Jeddah, AlUla is just another 1 hour, 10 minutes from Jeddah. So you can really virtually fly directly into AlUla, or you can take a break in Jeddah, do the sightseeing in Jeddah or Riyadh and Dammam, and then fly into AlUla. Again, they're all very, very short flights, between 1 hour, 10 minutes to maximum of 2 hours. Even, going by car is also very easy. Saudi Arabia is very well connected road networks. It makes it easy to find your way from one place to the other. AlUla is the closest city would be Medina, which is about 3.5 hours from AlUla. And Jeddah would be about 7.5 hours, and Riyadh about 10 hours. Within AlUla, there is also a taxi service which offers clean and comfortable transport from the airport to your accommodation. Just moving on to, it's we recommend like a 2 or 3 night stay to really truly experience the destination of AlUla. And everything is really close by. Everything, as you can see, is between 25 to 30 minutes. Even the airport is about 25 to 30 minutes from the accommodation. The sites are about 25 to 30 minutes. And we have all the details. Moving on to air access to visas, which is the big question always for Indians. It's Saudi is making some great inroads in visa facilities and services for Indians. So as of today, I mean when borders open, if anyone has a UK or a US visa, you get a visa on arrival. So you really don't need to, if you're flying on Saudi. A Saudi airlines. So if you really don't need to, apply for your visa in advance, and that always is a very, very big plus for Indians, because, they really can, and knowing that the flight is just like, a short trip away, short distance away, you can even plan a long weekend, to AlUla. Going forward, Saudi tourism is looking at extending this e-visa facility for Indians, and that was already announced last year at SATE, and I think it will come into place as soon as restrictions lift and things get back to normal. So getting a visa for Indians, for legitimate travelers, is going to be quite an easy process. Just in terms of even traveling around within even so if you decide to fly in, there are taxi hire options available, there are car hire options available at the airport within the city, so you can, and it's easy to navigate, it's not crowded at all, so you can just even decide to do a self-drive trip in and around Alula. So we have two DMCs. You'll be hearing from Zahid Travel very shortly, and Abarot, Albarot as well, who will be coming on for the next webinar. So in conclusion, we really want to say that, this is going to be a great experience for you and for your visitors. It's a new destination. It's hardly known. And we believe that you will really have an awesome experience. So do start recruiting people, when borders open, to get through to AlUla. So all COVID safety norms are in place, and seeing how things go, they will continue to be in place. I think the advantage of AlUla is the fact that we have, the open spaces. So there really is no requirement, there are no crowds, there are no this thing. So social distancing is easy to do. So thank you for this, and thank you for giving us the opportunity. Thank you for listening in to us. So just going forward, we'll play the music video shortly, and then we will go Zahid to present. Samir is very well known. He's worked in India. He's been a colleague of ours in the past with Oberoi Hotel. So he's very tuned into working with Indians. He understands the Indian culture. He understands what you need. And I know that always is a challenge because, people always say, do you understand? Because Indians always have specific queries or specific needs. And I have no doubt that Samir will be able to meet all those needs of the Indian traveler. So we would recommend that you direct your queries to him. So Ajay, if you can now play the movie, and then we will go on to Samir's presentation. Over to you, Samir.
Good morning again, everybody. On behalf of Zahid Travel and Go Zahid Destination Management, I'm delighted to be part of this inaugural AlUla webinar in India. Thank you to the Royal Commission of AlUla, Melanie, Tyler, and the entire RCU team for this great opportunity. As well, what a great pleasure to reconnect with Bina and Huzan. Thank you, Huzan, for your warm words. After many years, thanks to our wonderful world of travel, as we all collectively look forward to recommence travel later this year. My slide is not moving, Ajay. Okay, let's move. Sorry, just having a technical challenge with the movement of the slides. Give me a moment.
We can see your next slide.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah.
So Go Zahid Destination Management is part of Zahid Travel, a key travel services provider in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for over 60 years. Headquartered in Jeddah and with offices across the kingdom, Zahid Travel is part of Zahid Group, which is a 100-plus-year-old conglomerate with presence across 11 diverse sectors, ranging from tractors, power, and of course to travel. As we all know in our business, people make the difference. And Go Zahid Destination Management is made up of a team of talented and committed professionals with experience across all the traveler segments that we look forward to welcoming from India, in the coming weeks and months ahead. From FIT Leisure, MICE groups and incentives, leisure groups, as well as luxury travel. As you've all seen from the presentations by Bina and the opening from Melanie, the destination has a very diverse offering for a wide range of visitor profiles. In terms of luxury travel, I think, oops, one moment. Sorry, the slides are moving. Just a moment again. Sorry about that. In terms of luxury travel in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, as many of you are perhaps familiar, this often includes private jets and yachts as well. As far as the operation goes, Zahid Travel's operation is 6 days a week from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. And that, for the Indian market with the time difference of only 2.5 hours, we believe will provide excellent connectivity and coverage to support and assist with any inquiries or queries of information that you and your teams will have down the line. In addition to ensure quality of services on the ground and not just in the office with the product and booking team, we believe in an approach of having boots on the ground. And this, in the case of AlUla, includes a dedicated project manager currently on site in AlUla, working very closely with all service providers, from accommodation to guides, transport, activities, and experience service providers, to ensure the guest experience is of a superior quality. You've all by now seen from the presentations of Melanie and Bina, AlUla is unlike any other destination. So, for you and your clients, visitors coming to this destination, prepare to be awed with the natural, surreal landscape and rock formations. Think Mars, the red planet, think Petra in Jordan, think the deserts of Arabia, think oasis and farms, all combined in one amazing destination. As well, as you heard from Bina, discerning travels seeking an immersive experience or just a retreat, whether you're seeking adventure, heritage, art and culture, or just nature and the great
Really sorry, everybody. I think there's been a technical glitch. So we will have to uh, request Samir to, probably send you all his slides, which in any case, you'll be getting all the presentations at the end of the webinar. And, we'll also send you his contact details so you can be, constantly in touch with him. But just want to tell you that he's showing a lot of the sample packages and a lot of experiences. So there's a lot of information available on the different kinds of, packages that one can have over here. And apart from that, he's again touching upon the connectivity. But, fortunately, we've already told you a lot about the connectivity and about the locations and the flights. And so basically, in any case, he was coming to the end of his presentation. So we will, just end his presentation there. And I'll now request Ajay to please show the video. So there's a very nice video which Samir has put together for everybody. So it'd be wonderful if we can just see the video. Yeah, so thanks everybody so much for your attention here. And now Tyler will say a few words. We'll go in, sorry, we first just going to a few question and answers. We've just seen that there have been a lot of questions from the audience, and we really thank you for that. But a lot of them are pertaining to the visa. So I'm just going to tackle that one last time, that visas are on arrival for those who have a US or a UK visa and those who are flying Saudi Airlines. And for all others, they will have to contact the embassy or the consulate. So that is in terms of the visas. I'm going to now go through the rest of the questions that we have been seeing. And since we don't have time to go through each of the questions, I've just selected a few of them, which Tyler will be answering. And then we will reply to each of you on email. To those whose questions have not been answered, we will be taking all those up separately, individually with all of you. So Tyler, here's a question for you. It asks, is it possible to have a private camp for stargazing or even an overnight bespoke camp? So, are these bespoke experiences possible for stargazing in AlUla?
Yeah, thanks, Bina. And thanks everyone for attending this webinar. It's a pleasure to connect with you all, and thank you for your interest, as we have received a lot of these questions. So related to stargazing, we currently have a packaged product experience with an amazing supplier, an amazing operator called Husak Tours, and Zahed Travel works closely with them to include them in our packages, as well as Al-Barak and other DMCs that we're working with. And currently that is a primary stargazing experience that we're offering. However, there are opportunities, especially as we evolve as a destination, for custom experiences to be developed, whether through our DMC partners and potentially by interest. So currently it's a package that we're promoting and a product that we're helping to sell. But that doesn't mean that can't change over time.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much, Tyler. We have another question which says that although they have many senior citizens in good health, they sometimes have people who require, wheelchairs. So would we be able to welcome such groups, of people in wheelchairs if there are 12 to 15 people?
Sorry, I think you cut out for a second there, Bina, but I believe you were inquiring about people of determination and people that have wheelchairs, and that's something that's very important to AlUla, that we provide access for people of determination into all of our sites. There are some experiences certainly on the adventure product space that are not appropriate for people of determination, but there are many experiences, our core heritage sites, certainly our nature products that do accommodate people of determination.
Okay, thank you, Tyler. We have another question which asks, are there any cultural restrictions or limitations while visiting AlUla that one will have to keep in mind?
Yeah, and Melanie touched upon this a little bit in the comment section, and this is something that we certainly encourage everyone to also familiarize themselves with the culture and etiquette of traveling to Saudi Arabia. But generally speaking, it is a very welcoming, open destination. There are certain things that we want to be aware of the local etiquette. So there are traditions that are respected as far as wearing appropriate clothing to around certain locations throughout the kingdom, and there are certain restrictions related to alcohol. And but I think broadly it's a very open and welcoming destination. And I think for me, living in AlUla and in Saudi Arabia since August of 2020, I think as Melanie mentioned, I also came in to the destination with my own perceptions about what the destination is, what some of the restrictions may be, but I was not only pleasantly surprised, but almost blown away by how welcoming and open the culture does seem once you're in the kingdom. And I think that, like anywhere else around the world, we have a lot of our perceptions shaped about a place that is largely unexplored by the media, and a lot of those stories can be sensationalized. And so it's something coming into the kingdom that you all will see for yourselves when you have the opportunity to visit when the border is open, that it is an amazingly welcoming and open destination, and you will absolutely feel comfortable as a woman, as a man, as a family, as a person of determination. So this is something that the kingdom is really committed to continuing to develop as well.
Okay, thank you. And Tyler, how many days would you recommend for a trip to AlUla?
Yeah, so this was a good question I saw in the comments as well. Really, it's a minimum 2-night destination from the 4 heritage sites that we have, the adventure products, the nature. It's certainly, it's 2 nights is the minimum. And we have itineraries that are 2 to 3 nights, but one could spend up to a week in the destination. And particularly if you want to include road trip experiences, as you saw the map, where there are sun and sea destinations, the Red Sea being about a 2.5 hour drive, and to Umlaj and Al-Waj, which are close to Yambu, which were on the maps there, which are road trip itineraries. Also, as Melanie mentioned, we're a 3-hour drive from Medina for Muslim visitors that may be of great interest. And we are going to continue to be developing and building on the destination, particularly with the amazing luxury hotel products that are going to be coming online, from the Jean Nouvel to 3 Aman resorts to a 4 Seasons. It's going to become a destination where people will come to their resort and easily be able to stay a week, relaxing, experience the heritage sites and all the destination has to offer.
Okay, wonderful. And Tyler, what would you think would be the best time to travel to AlUla? What time of the year would you recommend?
Right now is certainly the best time, right? Our major festival, Winter Atantura, it has run in the past from October, November through March. And that's a primary visitation period for all of the Middle East. However, during the summer and the off season, it is warmer, but all of our heritage sites are open, and there are definitely more favorable rates during that period. And just like Egypt and Petra and Dubai are open during the summer, so is AlUla. So it's something that we will certainly guide people to the fact that winter is going to be a more pleasant weather, but there are going to be experiences that are opened. And again, it's a really great opportunity where there are going to be fewer crowds, fewer people, more personalized service, and certainly better rates during the off season.
Okay, that's great. Tyler, and our last question would just be on, how easy is it to self-drive in AlUla, and are guides available?
It's very easy to self-drive. So I drive around AlUla, and the road networks throughout Saudi Arabia are very good, as was mentioned during the presentation. I can attest that gas is very affordable, as one can imagine. And this is something where there are some of the adventure products that do require transportation to and from, and some of the key heritage products as well. But it's very easy to self-drive, visit all the sites. As was mentioned, the AlUla region is very large. It's the size of Belgium, but all of our core heritage sites and adventure products and the airport, it's within about a 35-minute drive of where you're staying and the key hotels, and being able to easily drive between them to some of our restaurants, our nature experiences. Some of our nature experiences for hiking and stargazing, maybe a little farther afield, but all again within 35, 45 minutes. And there are many rental car locations. There's a rental car location at the airport. And again, some folks do take driving itineraries, flying into Tabuk or to Medina and taking a road trip along the Red Sea to those cities I mentioned, Umlaj, Yambu, Al-Waj, and then coming over to AlUla. And there are guides that are available. And so our team has worked very closely to train additional guides in AlUla that are working with our DMC partners like Zahed and Al Barak, and they can join you for most of the journey or all of the journey should you choose. We do have Rawis, which are trained storytellers that are guides at each of the heritage sites, and they will guide you as a visitor through the journey through time and the historical elements, as they're really experts in the history, the location. They're all locals. So this is something that is an added benefit that's built into the ticket price, but a guide can join you as a part of that throughout the journey.
Yeah, so thanks, Tyler. So you might want to give some closing remarks now, Tyler, because after you, we'll just have, Samir come on for a few minutes because he missed speaking to everybody. So he just has a few words to share with everyone. So Tyler, after you finish, then we just ask Sami to say a few words.
Absolutely, yeah. I just want to thank everyone again for attending the webinar. I know during the COVID period, there are a lot of webinars and Zoom calls that we're all taking. So we really appreciate you all taking the time to learn more about the destination. And we're really excited to showcase it around the world, but particularly to India, with the long-standing cultural ties we have between India and Saudi Arabia, the amazing flight network. There's a lot to offer Indian audiences, and we know that the India market has really been growing exponentially over the last few years from an outbound travel perspective. Granted, it's been slowed by COVID, but that's a challenge that we're all facing, and we see India as going to be one of the most resilient markets to return and rebound. And so we look forward to working very closely with you all to bring the AlUla experience to India. And I just want to take this opportunity as well to thank our amazing team at Beautiful Planet, Hassan and Bina, for putting together this amazing program, and for TravelBiz for organizing this event. And again, as Bina has mentioned, we'll be sure to answer all the individual questions we didn't get to by email that are within the comments. And Bina and Hassan and the Beautiful Planet team are a great resource for you to provide you with information about rates, about new products, about itineraries across KSA and regional combinations. So please leverage them as your key resource in the market. And as Melanie mentioned, I really look forward to having the opportunity to visit India as soon as travel restrictions are lifted and to connect with you all in person. So thank you again, and also a big thank you to Samir and Zahed Travel for joining as well. And with that, I'll turn it over to him. Thank you very much.
So just in the interest of time, I just wanted to emphasize on a few things about from a DMC perspective, and you know, some of the points that Tyler already covered in the Q&A. The destination is accessible by air at the moment through 3 gateways, namely Dammam, Jeddah, and Riyadh. And as a destination management company, we have presence on the ground in all the places, and typical programs would include combining. As a matter of fact, our recommendation is, as you know, as we all know in India, the Golden Triangle. So I would call this the open jaw itinerary, where you fly in as a gateway into Riyadh. From there, connect, spend a few nights in Riyadh, spend a few nights there, and then go on to AlUla for, as Bina and Tyler mentioned in the itinerary, at least a minimum 2 nights, and then onwards to Jeddah before heading back to India. And again, these cities and as the destination, and you know, the road trips is part that bits that Tyler covered, but looking at these 2 amazing cities as well, and you know, with the opening of the culture, you notice the history, the cuisines and experiences that these offer visitors, which will complement your entire the trip of your clients to AlUla. So in closing, I just want to you know, emphasize, as a destination management company, we are looking forward to working with all of you in the Indian market. I, as an Indian, of course, is very familiar with what the requirements are, and from my past experiences, as is the wider Go Zahed destination management team. And thank you again for your time this morning. And we look forward to working with all of you, and hopefully seeing many of you in person in AlUla, as well as in India in the coming weeks and months. Thank you.
Thanks. So we'll now just show you a short video of the Winter and Tentora Festival. Ajay, if you could play the video, please.
Can somebody? Hi. So now we move to the final part of our presentation, which is the quiz. And so I would like everybody to just turn on, go to the Q&A section. The way we'll run the quiz is that we will put up the question on the on a PowerPoint slide. Ajay, you will do that once I give you the go ahead. And then if everyone can give in their answers in the Q&A section, and then Rashmi, who is sitting just next to me, will be reading out the winner. Many of you know Rashmi, and she also works with us at Beautiful Planet. So the first one in, if you can also, in the Q&A section, there is the answered section. So in that is where you need to feed in the answer, because that's a section that we're going to be looking at. So here goes the first question, and we'll announce the winner as we go. So the first question, Ajay, the Q&A. Okay, so if you can name the 4 heritage sites in AlUla. It's not too easy, we've spoken a lot about it. Coming.
Yes.
Where?
Divya.
Okay.
No.
So we can see a few answers coming in.
You can announce. So the right answer for this question is the 4 heritage sites are Hegra, Dadan, Jabal Ikmah, and the Old Town of AlUla. And the winner is Neha Gandhi. So we move on to the next question.
Next question. Which is Saudi Arabia's first UNESCO World Heritage Site? That's a very easy one. It's becoming easier as you go along. Showing in the chat.
So the right answer is Hegra. Hegra is Saudi Arabia's first UNESCO World Heritage Site. And the winner is Munid Shah. Now we move on to the next question.
The biggest festival in AlUla where one can experience international music, concerts, and other fun activities. I think that's even easier than the second one. I want to see lots of answers coming in.
The biggest festival in AlUla is winter at Tantora. And the winner is Pinky Rajput. Now we move on to the fourth question.
Name the building in AlUla that entered the Guinness Book of World Records and why?
Thank you all for the answers, but we were looking for the complete answer. So the answer is Mariah, which has entered into the Guinness Book of World Records, and the reason being the world's largest mirrored building. So the winner is Nitish Gupta. Now we move on to the last question.
So, name, oops, sorry.
Oh.
I'll just get to the last question.
Yeah.
Name any 2 adventure activities. This is really easy.
So AlUla is a great destination for adventure enthusiasts. So out of the many adventure activities, so we asked for only 2. So the answers are zip line, biking, cycling, horse and camel trail, buggy rides, hot air balloon, walking trail, and the answer which is given by Vinay Aital is zipline horse riding. So the winner is Vinay Aital.
So we will contact the winners to give away the vouchers, the gift vouchers, and we bring this webinar to a close now. Thank you very much. It's been a really enthusiastic audience. We've got so many questions. We're really happy, especially at a time like this when we know that everybody is zoomed out. But thank you for your interest. We appreciate that. We look forward to working closely with you to bring AlUla to real life. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
We'll now end this.